Alright, so I've got my drive right here. Okay, this is in my computer right now. The way I did this, so if we look right here at our properties, we've got 1.3 terabytes free space and about 0.05 used, just over. What this disk actually is, I'll show you in disk management. So it's actually two things at once. So I have 4 disks. Technically, I have a SSD boot drive, and that's just my main storage. That's not included in this. But then I have 3 hard drives: a 5 terabyte, a 640 gig, and a 500 gig. So, here is my boot drive. This is my SSD. This is my SSD right here. Okay. And then this is just USB stick. So all we're focusing are on these top 3. They're gone. All right. So we've got disk 0. This is my 4 terabyte. Okay. And you see how it's gray? That's striped. So striped is like, okay, so it's like RAID 0. It's actually just like RAID 0. You're combining multiple drives, and it's going to write to all of them at once. 111. Or I should say 123, 123, 123, you know, it's just writing all of them as if it fills one bigger drive. Now, the only problem with this is my smallest hard drive is 500 gigabytes, technically 465.64. But let's just keep numbers simple. It's 500 gigs. That's what it says. And this can only do 500 gigs as striped. And then my 4 terabyte can only do 500 as striped. That is because the smallest one has to be kept throughout the entire striped function. So if you have 4 terabytes, they all have to be 4 terabytes. They all have to be whatever the smallest disk is. They all have to be the same. And you can't have, let's say, 4 terabyte on a 4 terabyte and then 4 terabytes on a 640 somehow. Okay. So I had this left over 3.2 terabytes and 130 gigs, which is actually a lot, you know, put that together. So what I did for that is actually just span it. I just spanned. So what spanning does is instead of RAID 0, and by the way, this is not an efficient way of storing your file. Well, actually, it's really efficient, but it's not very, I don't know how to explain it. It's very bad for you. Because if I lose one of these drives, all my data is gone. Okay, I should be doing at least a RAID 1, more preferably a RAID 5, but I only have 3 disks. I don't have 4. You have to have 4 as minimum for RAID 5. What RAID 5 does is this, basically, except imagine having 4 disks, and it writes 2 of them, like striped. Okay, it just writes 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, but it also copies that to another striped volume, where it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. So while you have 2 striped, they're both cloned. So you have a backup at all times. So if one of these fails, instead of all my data being lost, all the data on that striped volume gets lost, but you still have another striped volume, and that is your backup. Okay, so that's a much better way of doing this, but just to keep it 1, simple, and 2, because I only have 4 slots and 1 has to be for boot. By the way, you cannot use your boot drive as one of these. I just did a striped. So it increases my writing speed, theoretically 3 times, but not really 3 times, but it does increase it quite a bit because it's writing 3 things at once. Okay, it's imagining as 3 individual drives all sending the same amount of data, but at the same time, basically. So theoretically it's 3 times faster, but not in actuality, just inefficiencies, but it is faster. And then as for a span volume, no speed is gained. Okay, it fills up one drive and then fills up the other. So if I lose one of these, the other will be fine. But let's say I lose one of the other ones, well, then there's no data on the original hard drive. So no recovery there. So if I lose the right hard drive, all my data is gone. As for these, if I lose any of these, all my data is gone. Because there's data in each and every one of these. Not quite, I don't know how big is this so far, 21 gigs. There's not 21 gigs in each of these. It's 21 divided by 3. Okay, it writes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so it's supposed to be all the same at one time. So anyway, that's my disk setup. So this is my primary storage. To get all of this and it will show up as a drive. In order to get this onto your network, like this is my computer, what you have to do is go down here, go to apps. There's actually a little, well, yeah, you do need this, but I guess you could do this later. We'll do this later. All right. First thing you actually have to do is go to services, and you're going to look for functions. There should be two functions, so C, D, E, F. We got two functions: function discovery and function discovery resource. Okay, this is the provider, this is the resource. And if I open up a file viewer, so let's just open up one of these, and we'll go to my network down here. As you can see, I got a 42 and a V. This is my computer right here. Okay. Let's turn this off and see what happens. Disappears. Without this service running, you cannot find this on this computer nor others. But the moment you turn it back on, it works. We gotta turn on both of them, sorry. And just give it a second. Might gotta refresh. There it is. There's my server, if you will. Now, the hard part about this is that you gotta, every time you turn on your computer, you gotta do this. You have to start it, okay? But what we can actually do is just right click, go down to properties, and when it's the startup type, I recommend doing automatic delayed start. It doesn't seem to be working for me. I'm having a couple issues, but I think I'll figure it out. Every now and then I'll turn it on properly. The best way I've gotten this to work is by switching this simply to automatic, and then my second one to automatic delayed. You should not have to do this. You should just do automatic delayed for both of them. Works much better, okay? But in case you do not have it working, see if one you can just simply, well, first what I would try is stop them both if they're not, and then start one and then start the other. And if it still doesn't work, then you've got an issue with permissions. You're gonna have to open up your firewall possibly and things like that. But if it does work after turning off and then turning back on manually, go down to properties and turn one of them to automatic and leave the other as automatic delayed. This will start them at different times and not overload whatever it's trying to do. Just in case it doesn't work. It should work anyway, as long as you turn them on and go to automatic delayed. It should work fine. So, now that we have this running, let's go to my laptop and see if we can access that. So, I'm on my laptop, and we're just going to go over to File Manager. We're going to go down to Network, and we'll look for our computer. But if you notice, if you don't know, I'm telling you right now, my computer's not on here, okay? We've got this other one, my other computer, and then we've got my laptop. We don't have my computer on here. Now to fix this, you're going to have to actually turn on a couple services on your computer. So usually this should work automatically, but if it doesn't, I'm going to show you how to fix that in the case that it doesn't. So I'm going to go back to the desktop. Okay. Alright, so the way we fix this, back on my PC, we'll see these little drives right here. So I got two: long-term storage, primary. What we do is, you can't actually do it with the drive, okay? You can try, but it won't work. You have to actually make a file inside of it. So like a head file, head dictory, and then put all your data inside of that one file inside of the drive. But then once we have that, the highest file, not drive, but file, give access to, go to specific people, and once you have your specific people, you have to type in the word everyone. Click add, and then when it says permission level right here, make sure it says read and write. Sure. Click done. It might take a second, and then I also want to get my long term on there, so I'm just going to go in there, go to my file, give access to specific people, type everyone, enter. I want to read and write to it. Sure. Done. Okay. So that is how you get it shareable. Okay. So we're going to switch to my laptop. Okay, so I'm back on my laptop, and what we're going to do is, we're still on our drive, so we're just going to go back to the network, wait for it to refresh, click on it. This will either refresh it, or you can just right click and go to refresh. So here we have LTS and primary storage. So now we can access this through the File Explorer, right? And now we can edit things. So you can access the computer directly. So if you don't want to make it like a full drive, you could just go to Users and your name, go to your desktop, and these are all the things on my desktop. All right. You could go to like downloads. These are all my downloads. We can go to documents, and those are all my documents, right? So yeah, that's it. That's basically it. This is how you get access and create your own server using a Windows computer. Thank you all for watching. Be sure, please be sure to comment on what you thought, because that is how I know what you all think of my videos, and I really need to know, okay? In order for me to keep doing this. Don't forget to at least subscribe and like, okay? I really want to know how I'm doing though. That is like my highest priority. Check out my other videos too. I got some good stuff on there. I've started a series, Making Your Own Computer, and my guess is you're all here for a reason. So yeah, please go check those out. Please. But thank you for watching today, and I'll see y'all later.